do me a favor and find a place to sit where you can hear. Nobody wants to sit on the front row tonight, so you grab a seat. We're going to keep a strict timeline tonight. I've got some county employees who have volunteered their time to be here, and I want to be respectful of them, and I appreciate them. We're going to go over some updates tonight. I have an update from the water department for you on some issues in Post 1, and then I have also Scott Green is here, who's county DOT director. He has some updates that he's going to share. This is going to be specifically related to Post 1, and not all of you may live in Post 1, but since I'm Post 1 commissioner and this is my town hall, we're going to focus a little on Post 1. Scott will be able to answer some questions that are other areas of the county. He may not have all the answers, so I won't put him on the spot for that. But after Scott, we're going to turn to the budget. Tabitha Pollard, who is finance director, is here, and we've got a copy of the budget. As we turn to the budget, I mean, I've got a notepad up here. Really, I'm just interested in hearing from you all. The chairman's budget was published with a proposed millage rate of 6.5. It had some capital expenditures in there. It had some raises for some employees. So we did the salary study, and we're trying to get back on track as far as personnel and salary goes. And so it's got some of that in there. So it was published in June, and I trust that you have had a chance to at least look over it. We've had a couple of budget hearings. Now this doesn't count as an official budget hearing. We'll have one more hearing on is it the 8th of August? It's the 8th of August, so we'll have that. I do want to recognize a couple of folks that are here. I mentioned Tabitha and Scott. Rebecca, who's executive assistant to the board, is here. She's our county clerk. Ellis Aston from the Airport Authority has shown his face, and so Ellis, good to see you. And I'm also appreciative that Dave Carmichael has come down from his office upstairs and buried in paperwork to come spend a few minutes down here as well. So thank you all for being here. As we get into updates, what I want to do is just hit a couple of high points, some key things that the board has voted on over the last few months, and just read those out so that you know them. I mentioned Rebecca Meredith is here. In the last few months, she was confirmed as county clerk, and so she's serving in that role and doing a fantastic job there. For personnel issues within the Board of Commissioners department, we've had two things we've done. There's been we approved senior administrative assistant to the chairman. I think I got that job title right. I get those words flopped all the time. But Kim White has been hired in that role. She's doing a fantastic job. If you haven't met Kim, you can meet her. She's here every day, but she'll be at the August 8th meeting, and you can say hi to her. Also, we've approved county administrator position. There was a lot of discussion and a lot of deliberation and a lot of back and forth on that. We've approved the position, and it's in the budget for fiscal year 18. Is funded with an assistant. The candidates for the county administrator are currently being interviewed. That process is ongoing, and hopefully, Dave, do you know when we hope to? Do you have it soon? I know on the finishing the county administrator. I don't know if we have.
We may be able to nominate by the 8th.
So we may be that close. So hopefully soon we'll be able to get county administrator in place, and that will allow them to take on some of the workload and help steer some things. One of the other things we've done in the last few months is we've accepted the renewal of the felony drug court grant. Felony drug court is a program that was kind of spearheaded, I believe, by Dean Bucci, who's a Superior Court judge, and it gives certain drug offenders, an opportunity to get their life back together. And I have been a part of some of their executive meetings, and I've seen the young men and women who have been a part of this, and it is an opportunity for them to avoid jail time, but it is one of the most strict regimens you could ever possibly imagine. These are not violent offenders. These are people who have an opportunity, who can get their life turned around if given the opportunity. Judge Bucci and Frank Baker have done a fantastic job running that program. It's up for renewal. One of the things that I like about the program, on top of the fact that it's changing lives of people and putting those families back together, is that it's completely funded through funds other than our general fund. So it doesn't cost the county for that, and it comes out of there's a grant, and then the matching part of the grant comes out of what's it called?
Jerk fund.
I'm sorry?
It's jerk fund. It's funds that have been collected on top of bonds.
Right.
That have been paid for drugs.
Okay.
Specifically for drug education and treatment.
So we're able to pay for that way and not impact the budget at all, and it's a great program. So that bond was up for renewal, that grant, I'm sorry, was up for renewal, and we accepted that grant. Jail project is moving forward. Voters voted on to build a jail. Sheriff Gullis came to the commission board and said, I want this on the ballot in November. I want to hear what the people have to say. The people said, yes, build a jail. And so we're moving forward with the jail project. We have awarded the construction manager at risk. That was just earlier this week. They're putting together final numbers, and we'll have our maximum cost, and the engineering and architecture will be going forward with that. And so there is a website, it's pauldingjail.com, that you can get updates on and see update on the process. If you have any questions, you can ask. I know Sheriff Gullis he wants that to be as open of a project as he can possibly be, so he'll be glad to get some information for you there if you need it. One other thing that we've done, and this is going to kind of segue me into reading an update from Lori from the Water Department. We approved an engineering firm there's a low pressure zone, low water pressure zone in the Mount Tabor area. One of the first calls I got when I took the seat as commissioner was on water pressure in a subdivision off of, it's right off of Business 6. And I was confused. And I said, Lori, what's going on? And she said, well, let me tell you about the low pressure zone and what we're doing and what we're working on. So we were working on it then. We've hired an engineering firm for that low pressure zone. And so I'm going to read, this is from Lori Ashmore, and I'm just going to, she sent this and I was going to just talk through it, but she worded it so well, I'm just going to read this. This is from her. The Mount Tabor area has historically had low water pressures due to its high elevation. Engineering for a new pressure zone, including a 150-foot tall elevated storage tank, booster pump station, and approximately 22,500 feet of ductile iron pipe, has been recommended multiple times and is now underway. In the last quarter, we solicited proposals and received proposals from 7 engineering firms. When past experience, project team, and the technical approach were evaluated, the selection committee recommended the award to Freese and Nichols. The contract was awarded by the board on July 11th with funding for the preliminary engineering services. Staff held a kickoff with Freese and Nichols to confirm master plan recommendations, confirm the routes, interconnections with the main pressure zone, and work is underway. The preliminary engineering effort will be complete before the end of 2017. And then after the engineering effort, obviously, there's more work to do. But that will be, those of you who may live in those low pressure areas and you have a bathroom upstairs, and as the water line goes through your house at the end of your line, as the water pressure dips, we're actively working to get that resolved. One other thing from Lori, she says, the Macklin facility, the 1 million gallon water tank on Macklin Road is in service, and you will probably notice that the old tank has been demolished. The facility on Macklin Road that houses our water distribution maintenance staff is nearing completion. Our staff has been moving the inventory of parts into the warehouse, and once everything is out of these older structures, they will be removed. So that's a little bit from the water department. Water doesn't always get the lights and the spotlight on it because it's not always flashy, but that pressure zone in the Macklin facility have been 2 issues that they've been going. And again, those are here specifically in Post 1. I want to get to DOT. It's always a popular item. People always want to know about roads and traffic, and they want to know when Scott's going to fix their problems. So Scott, if you would come up, he gave a handout, and I'll get to hand these out, and then Scott's going to cover, there's some updates on the front side of this, with some of the talking points he's going to cover. There's also a map he'd like you to take a look at on the back of this, and I will divide and we'll hand these out. And Scott, if you go ahead and go forward.
Should I take the podium here?
What's that?
Would you like me to address it from the
Yeah,
podium? Or?
take the podium, please. We've got a couple of cameras, so let's keep everybody in front of the camera.
Well, I sure appreciate being invited. Try to make many of these, and I end up learning more probably than y'all do. In and around the county, it's good to hear what you see because we don't get out there and see everything. We also get a lot of calls about state routes, and I think many of the things we heard at 2 meetings ago were involving State Route 92, different things happening there. I want to report that we did get with the state on future paving of 92 North, which will be done even before they widen. And there was a lot of questions about striping and turn lanes backing up at different areas. And we passed those suggestions on to the Traffic Operations Department in Cartersville, and they've agreed to make a lot of those changes. So where you have trucks running through the gore areas, trying to get to a traffic light that's backing up, or they're blocking the main line, like up at Crossroads. A right turn lane at Stars and Strikes, where people run through the gore areas and cut people off and surprise people. The state has agreed to make those changes when they do the paving next year on Highway 92. Also down in Hiram, a similar thing down by Hobby Lobby. If you're going south on 92, making a left on 278, trucks are scattered everywhere trying to figure out what lane to get into, way to turn left on that long back up there at 92 and 278. The state's going to extend that turn lane all the way north, so they're heading south all the way north, back beyond Hobby Lobby, back up towards Indian Creek, I think, up in that area. So it'll all be one long left continuous turn lane. Also, the state is putting in a right turn bypass lane at 92 South at Old Burr Hickory Road by the fire station up there. That's Ackworth Hiram Highway. If y'all are familiar with that, there's a pile of bumpers and fenders and things like that. It kind of tells you there's a problem. Skid marks there. They have put up signs. I don't know how far along they've gotten. I haven't been up that way the last 2 weeks since I was out of town. Anybody notice any digging or anything yet? Okay, well that should be coming shortly. It was approved and funded, and the contract's been issued. Other than that, we had some signal requests. We put up some signal signage up at Due West and 92. We put up flashing yellow arrows since we reported last, and that's just an ongoing thing the state is doing. They're converting all the left turn phases to flashing yellow arrow to bring attention that you do have to yield and pay attention when you make a left on the when your main line is green and you just have no controlling arrow at the time. Other than that, just off the highlights, I know you'll have the handout, so I won't hit everything. We just wrapped up a paving contract, and we have just issued another paving contract. So you've got a list of neighborhoods included there. And then another 3 locations where we're doing those right turn bypass lanes. Are y'all familiar with those? You'll start seeing them more. The state has been more lenient in approving them. In the past, they made us put in a full left turn lane with a lot of tapering to accomplish really what you want to do is just get around 1 or 2 cars that are stopped waiting to make a left turn. And they end up being very big, expensive projects, and they don't get done. So the state has looked at it again, and they're allowing us to put in these little bypass lanes, like at on Old 381 up by the senior center. You've got the little bump out where you can go around. We haven't seen a problem. We see they working good. So we just put one in at East Paulding Drive, at Hope Drive, at 12 Oaks. We've got 2 more going in at Oliver Drive, one at Oliver Drive and one at Fairwood Drive up by Bradshaw Park. So those are coming, and those have been coming also from citizen requests. And we've been able to approve that because the state's been doing the same on their part. Also, traffic operations. We continue to work with the state. We do maintain a lot of state signals, and we do take their calls, if you didn't know that. So a lot of times we get a signal question come up, and they'll call our main office, and then we determine which signal it is. It's not easy to tell, but we do maintain most of the signals on Highway 92, unless they're in the city limits, and the signals on Highway 120 also, and then a few other signals scattered around, like down at the high school, called County High. There's really no way to tell if you're driving down the road, but we do take those. And we are coordinating with the state. They do give us assistance. They give us equipment, they give us computers, they give us fiber and different things like that, because we are helping them with their maintenance. And we're willing to do it for that respect, to get that assistance, but also because we just have a quick response. Our ETA to get out to a site and get like a signal flashing or something a lot quicker than a technician coming out of the state office out of Cartersville or further north. So it's something we do as a service. And the state does reciprocate in some ways, with timing projects and other grants and things like that. One other project of interest I wanted to mention is the roundabout proposal. It's on the back of your sheet. This is one of the older projects on our books, which is Macklin at Bobo Road. Everybody's pretty familiar with that. It backs up really bad during the peak hours. Four-way stop, doesn't operate terribly well. And we had designed a full-blown traffic signal project for that, and we tried to work it through, and we keep running into problems with the amount of right-of-way needed and really the performance of the signal. And here, now that we're looking at roundabouts a lot harder, we stepped back and modeled that as a roundabout to see how it would perform, and actually perform better than the signal. And we knew at some point, even if we put in a traffic light at Bobo Macklin, we would have to go do something at Mount Tabor and Bobo. And then to put in two traffic lights that close together just creates a lot of other problems. So we modeled that as a double roundabout, and generally we've gotten good response. You know, we're here to take questions on that. It's going to model, it's going to have less backup, it's going to calm traffic down. You can imagine people with two green lights ripping through there. You're going to have higher speed crashes when somebody does make a mistake. So roundabout calms things down. Keeps the flow metered through, and generally better overall performance versus the delays of starting and stopping the signal or just sitting and waiting on a light. So we want to move forward with that, but we're giving some time here for input from the property owners that are affected, as well as citizens that might be interested in commenting on it. We'd be glad to hear your thoughts on that before we turn that project from a signal project into a roundabout project. And then back on the front page, Commissioner Davis originally asked me to give an update on construction, and y'all pretty much see it. A lot of barrels and things have been coming down because of the paving wrapping up, but you still have the big projects, Dallas-Ackworth Highway, the two bridges at Pickett's and Possum Creeks. Those are well underway. They are off to a slow start, I will admit. We're a little behind schedule. As you get into the project, you start moving water lines and power lines, and even Colonial Pipeline had to do some work up there. So it's kind of been laborious getting started. I look for that project to pick up a lot of pace here in the next couple of months, through the summer and the fall. It is scheduled for next summer, and right now I'd say it doesn't look great, but I'm going to tell you they're going to catch up a lot through the winter, and bridges can generally proceed through the winter. Unlike a lot of our work, it really depends on how dry it is and that kind of thing. That's about all I want to cover. As far as our budget at DOT, we had a small increase in our proposed budget, I'd say a modest increase, but I want to remind people that we still are only paying for half of our paving with general fund. The other half of our paving is coming from SPLOST and from state grants. And so that's not a completely healthy way to fund paving. If you take away the SPLOST someday, we're going to be hit with a big bill. I don't see the state grants going away. We're getting $1.7 million this year for paving from the state LMIG program, which does come from state sales tax. So you're still paying for it one way or another. I guess the main point there is SPLOST is not one of those things you can take for granted. And we're thankful for that. That program is in place, so we're able to help our paving program in the interim years until we have a better tax base maybe someday where we can tax and pay for what we're needing without it being so much on the property owner, or I should say the residential property owner versus a commercial tax base. And then we still have about 18 positions frozen from 2007 from when we put in a hiring freeze. I know the board has been able to, in the last couple of years, begin to put some of those positions back, and we've got a couple in the budget for DOT, stormwater particularly. We've been doing very little of it. We're just building up a big backlog. So we're thankful if that is able to be approved to be able to put some of those positions back. But even with the budget we have proposed, my point is we still have about 20% less staff than we were authorized at one point in the past, particularly back in '07 in those times. And we combined stormwater into DOT, but didn't take all the positions. We combined the utility office, which used to coordinate street lights, utility inspections, and other things. We absorbed that, and when everybody retired or was laid off, we just absorbed that into DOT. We've been able to manage that the best we can. But from a customer standpoint, we are making a lot of excuses still. We're still begging for time. We're still telling them that we have a lot of backlog. If you haven't experienced, I'd be surprised. If somebody calls and they have a drainage problem, we have to go triage it. We go out there and look at it. Is the road caving in? Yeah, that's priority one. We'll do it immediately. But if it's a ditch that needs to be cleaned out, if it's a pipe that needs to be repaired, if it's not structurally affecting traffic or something like that, then that is just, it's a push. It's on our back burner. And I don't like telling people we don't know when we get to it, or it's going to be 8 weeks or 3 months or something. I kind of question that. But unless you've experienced that personally, that delay, you probably haven't seen a lot of the things, because we have absorbed, and our staff has really worked hard not to have those cutbacks felt. I think they've done a fairly good job. We always want to be in that position where we can just say, yeah, it'll be taken care of tomorrow, but that's not realistic. We're going to hopefully get there someday, but first of all, we're going to be as efficient as we can be. I think that's very hard. We continue to look at our efficiency, make sure we're doing everything we can with the people we have. And part of that is a salary study. We've got to pay to have qualified people, and we're losing so many. We lost one just today. I got another resignation. We don't have a traffic operations engineer right now. We haven't had that job filled in 10 months now because we haven't been able to offer comparable pay to what other jurisdictions, even at the government level, are paying. We're not even offering what the deputies in other jurisdictions are paying. So we're looking forward to hopefully the salary study being implemented beginning this year, and I think that will help us retain staff. We've lost, I think, our entire traffic operations department was turned over in 30 months. Some of that was retirement, but a good chunk of them were just private sector, particularly, is paying a crazy amount of money. Not entirely justified if you look at longevity and what you get at the county. Yeah, you accept less versus the private sector. Private sector is going to run you all over Metro Atlanta a lot of times, and so it's a quality of life choice. But at some point that difference gets so big and people are willing to make that jump and take that loss of time where they're having to commute out, spend a lot more time on the road, that kind of thing. It just gets to be too much for them to ignore. So again, I hope we can begin to retain people better than we have in the past, and those people that we really have a lot of good employees that we want to keep. But a lot of them in the back of their mind, they're thinking, this economy keeps going. At some point, I don't know how long we can stay at Paulding County and continue to work where we love working close to home. It just gets to be that choice you make. So I respect that. I appreciate your help. I'll be glad to take any questions at this time. All right. Okay. Thank you. I won't take too much of your time. Anytime you ask me to talk, I'm going to get up here.
I appreciate it. You spoke and you didn't have questions, so that's
Thank you.
impressive. Scott spoke a little bit about budget concerns and a little bit about, oh, Todd's here. Is Dave still in the room?
No.
Dave left, okay. Todd Connell's here. Todd, thank you for stepping in and being a part of the evening tonight. Glad to see you here. I recognize everybody else who was here. You weren't. Now you are. So thank you for being here, Todd. Scott talked a little bit about budget and his budget concerns. And you heard a little firsthand. I didn't ask him to give that, but it kind of helps us segue into this budget discussion a little bit. You know, he mentioned the salary study. The last salary study that was completed, I believe, was 1999. And just to be, you know, frank and honest about it, we were lacking in some areas, and we still are. And last year, we found we found it took a lot of work, and it was a joint effort from a lot of people. But we found a way to give some raises last year when we did the budget, and it was you know, I saw it as saying, you know, here, hang with us. The results of the study are coming back, and we're serious about this. The board is serious about making this right. Hang in there, and it was maybe a first step towards that. Since then, the salary study results have come back. There's $2 million in this budget, about $2 million in this budget to work to fix that. Those of you who were at the, excuse me, those of you who weren't at the meeting on Tuesday, Brian Acker, our HR director, spoke about kind of how we're doing that, checking on some job classifications and seeing are these classifications where they should be, do these people fit in the right ones, and they're paying the right ones. So this isn't an across-the-board increase for everybody. We're more out of line in some places than we are in others. And a lot of time you hear about public safety. And there was a gentleman who's here tonight who got up and said, give the money to the police officers because they need it. And I tell you what, people who put on a vest that would stop a bullet as a part of a daily routine certainly deserve a pay raise. And we hear about it in public safety, and it is an issue in public safety, and we're addressing it in public safety. But it's also an issue, as you heard, in other departments. And it's an issue with DOT and IT and finance and all the other county departments that we have employees who we do lose, either to other government entities or to the private sector, because we're not able to compensate them the way that they need to be compensated. And so we're working to make that right. I'll just open. I'm not going to read the budget to you. I read it some more this afternoon, and it's a lot of numbers. I told Tabitha I'm glad that she's in accounting and I'm in IT, because the numbers, there's a lot of them there. But is there anything that you've seen in the budget that you've heard discussed that you are curious about, something that's not in the budget that you wonder, where is it? What's the process here? Is there any question about the millage rate? Is there any question about how your tax bill is calculated? Any of that? We covered some of that Tuesday. Not everybody that was here was there. But are there any questions that we could try to answer tonight about taxes or budget or millage rate? Yes, sir.
Where are legal fees shown in our budget?
I'm sorry?
Where are legal fees shown in our budget? The line shows 0, and we know we have them.
Tabitha isn't going to like this, but can you come up here where the cameras are? I'm not going to talk about how Tabitha is the best finance director in the state of Georgia. And I'm not going to talk about how her department wins awards for being so awesome. I'm not going to do that because it would embarrass her. But if you can help answer some of the questions, that would be great.
I can, okay. Legal fees are accounted for in each department. So they're accounted for on each page, including in the operating expenses. There are some in the non-departmental that aren't specifically related to a department. They're to the county as overall. Those are some in other professional fees. Just to give you an idea of how much those are, in 2017, I had a total of about $344,000 to legal fees. In 2016, there was $473,000 in legal fees. In 2015, there was $359,000 in legal fees.
And that's all the legal fees of the county combined, whatever, just total number of legal fees of the county.
That's by department, those are for, by department. The ones that I mentioned in the non-departmental for 2017, those were, I believe my number's 211,000, sorry, but I think that's what it is. And then 95,000 for 2016,
So we're spending what, $500,000? No.
almost, around $500,000 in legal fees.
$500,000 legal fees. Okay, because I could never find it anywhere on the non-departmental, all I saw was zero.
Well,
legal fees.
and we're required by the state issues a chart of accounts. So so that Paulding County can be comparable with Cobb County or with Polk County or with other county entities, they tell us how we have to account for our expenses. And so these line items are within each department according to that code, chart of accounts, and then they roll up to the department, which is the department, the legal level of spending and within the county is at each department. So that's kind of why it's done that way.
Answer my question.
Any other questions about the budget or?
You talk about salaries and stuff, we're not, y'all didn't do a study comparing us to Cobb County, did you? I mean, there's no way we could ever.
Well, Paulding's a different beast than Cobb. We looked at,
It should be.
we looked at similar counties, the counties that are about the same size as
That's
ours
right.
and our makeup. You can drive into Cobb County and see very quickly that it's a different beast than Paulding is, and it's going to be. We understand that, but we need to be competitive in the area where we are.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no way we're ever gonna compete with Cobb County because of the big budget they have, twice, 3 times the people over there, plus they have their welcoming committee, and they always get Paulding County dollars in the Cobb County by their welcoming committee. Tax, they always go after Paulding.
So yeah, this one.
Okay, just, and while Kevin was up there, and we talked a lot about this, at the meeting Tuesday. The Board of Commissioners is only responsible for a portion of your property taxes. Can you have a percentage of breakdowns, or can you just kind of briefly touch on that? What the Board of Commissioners is controlling?
So the Board of Commissioners is, and maybe, I don't know, I'll try to answer, but you jump in. This is about a third, maybe a little less than a third of the overall tax bill. The majority of your taxes are coming from the school board. The school board voted on Tuesday, I believe, on their millage rate. They're sending it over to us. It was another increase. And so a lot of times you see this big increase and you're like, you want to run out and find your commissioner. Well, sometimes that's the commissioner's fault, sometimes it's the school board's fault, sometimes it's a combination. So, so the school board makes about 63%, something like that, 64%.
The school board's millage rate is about 18.879. The county's is just over 11.
So it's not quite two-thirds.
Close.
Yes.
Just clarification, the school board did not raise the millage rate.
No,
They left the millage rate.
They left the millage rate,
Assessments
right.
went up.
Right, the school board left the millage rate where it was, but because of the way Georgia law works, if the assessments come up and you tax at the same rate, you're going to get more money, so Georgia says that's a tax increase, and so that's what I meant. They did leave the millage rate the same. Any other budget questions? Questions in general for Tab? Yes, sir.
What's our disparity between the work study, between the salary study and what we're actually paying? Anybody got a total number on that yet? $1 million, $2 million, $500,000? Is there a number anybody come up with, like shortfall? Yeah.
I don't know that number.
The difference is roughly $2 million. That's why, that's the amount that's in the budget. It's for a partial year. That depends on which level they decide to go at. So if it's 97, 100%, or 103% more.
So if we brought everybody up to that study, whatever that may be, it's about $2 million overall.
And that money is worked into this budget, into the individual departments to try to correct those issues. you're welcome to continue standing here, but
Okay, that's
if you
great.
don't want to continue standing here.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And then I will, before, we're a little ahead of schedule, which is nice, goes to respecting the time of some of those people who volunteered to be here and help us out tonight. But I just wondered if there are any questions related to county business that you have. Scott's still here, if something's come up, or if you think of another finance question, or if Todd's here, he'll answer a question if you have something for him. Is there any county
Yeah.
business question to raise?
For Scott, is Rose's Corner still going to have a roundabout put in?
Yes, we had Rose's Store is a
Or store, I'm sorry.
120, Highway 120, 101.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's, they're well into design, and they're doing lighting design and landscaping now. And next step would be right-of-way acquisition. I don't have a good schedule for you off the top of my head, but that project is well underway.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. These folks have done a good job of presenting so that there are no questions. So if there are questions, if you have my business card is up here, Scott's is here too. It's got our contact on it, our contact information on it, and feel free to reach out by my cell phone number's on there. So reach out by cell or by email anytime. And with that, I'll thank you all for being here. And we will adjourn. And my next, just for our way of announcement, my next town hall will be, this is the second one for this year. I do 4 a year, and so my next one will be probably end of September. So watch for that. We'll try to get it in. We're there right at the end of the third quarter of the year. So thank you all for being here. I hope you have a great night.